What would you say to footy fans and these sorts of talkback callers who think that something like that is okay and that he should be fine to play and it doesn't really have an effect?
Yeah, I just think that it's something that it's got to be completely stamped out. I just think that it's protecting the fabric of the game. It's once you allow certain things, it's just going to get worse and worse. And I just go back to umpires are not there to they shouldn't have to deal with this. We see examples on YouTube and overseas where players are really harming umpires, right? We don't want. I mean, we don't want to get to that position of just allowing more and more. So I think it's about protection and setting the right image and protecting the fabric of the game.
There's a line that sort of gets trotted out in the media, especially that who'd want to be an umpire, and this sort of stuff is going to affect that. There's going to be a lack of umpires in the future because no one's going to want to umpire with this sort of stuff that they have to face. Is that something that you saw over your career and since in the lower and sort of amateur leagues that people are turning away from doing this because of this sort of stuff and the way it can, as you say, filter down?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, umpire retention at a lower league is a real issue and has been for some time. There's a lot of umpires that join the ranks but to retain them is a real challenge, right? And typically it's the abuse that they get which turns young people away. I mean, I look at this. I mean, I'm a father of young kids, and if they were out umpiring and they had somebody physically approach them, walk at them, and make shoulder contact with them, if you're a parent, that would be really worrying, right? For that sort of behavior, particularly when you're an umpire and you're not doing it for the physical contact, for the physical contest. You're there to officiate and apply the rules. But I just think that, as a parent, the risk of your child being, physically contacted like that, I think, is definitely off-putting. So, got no issues with players letting off steam. But for me, where it's really personable, it's directed at an umpire, it's easily visible, and it's at them. I think that's where the line's got to be drawn. Whereas if it's just letting off steam, I've got no issues with that. And then depending on what the instruction is from the AFL about stamping it out, the umpires then need to follow that directive as well. But it's more where it's visible, directed at an umpire, and usually it's you as a person, which is what used to happen back in the day. In terms of being protected, feel very protected, feel safe. I mean, I don't think any umpire, particularly at AFL level, would ever feel intimidated. It's things happen on the field, but we're grown men and can deal with with scenarios. I mean, you go in there expecting to deal with situations. So I don't think it's about feeling intimidated. It's around the look for the game, and protecting the fabric of umpiring and refereeing and officials, because I just think things creep over time, about what's tolerated. Once you tolerate one thing, it sort of creeps out. I'll look at, the Tom Hawkins and the Lachie Neale one, I think it was. I mean, whilst, look, we want to let that stuff go, but you let it go, right? And then stuff like this happens, right? So which is, difficult for an umpire because they want to have rapport and, that sort of thing. But it's not about umpires being precious. To me, it's about things that creep into the game, and then you get players doing what they do, like Toby Greene did.